now. And then I'll have this recorded if anybody else, you know, that wasn't able to make it wants to pop in. But so just a little bit about the program. So this is called Get Out of Your Mind and Into Your Life. I just kind of named it that because I feel like that's what we're trying to do, is get out of our mind and into our life, right? Because we can really get stuck in the thoughts of our mind, and those thoughts that are not true. They can be self-limiting beliefs. So we want to kind of get out of that, and then we kind of get back into the mind in this clearer sense to figure out what's going on. But the main piece of this program uses something called somatic therapy. And somatic therapy is a form of psychotherapy that emphasizes the connection between mind, body, and addressing the emotional and psychological issues. So it integrates kind of some pieces of that traditional talk therapy, but it really brings in the physical aspect. So we always start with some big physical movement, some yoga movement, and then we start moving more into the breath, more into the meditation. So it's very based in the concept of yoga, with tuning into the body and noticing what is there. So some of the activities that we'll do are body awareness activities, where we move our body and then we stop and we notice, what do we feel in our body? Do we feel our heart rate? Do we feel any sensation? Do we feel heat? Do we feel cold? It'll take put a lot of emphasis on breath work, various types of breathing to help calm the nervous system. So all of it's about calming our nervous system. There is also just the mindfulness and meditation. So after we start big, we start in the body, we notice what's there, and then to get out of the mind, and then we want to come back into the mind through that mindfulness and meditation to really work on, what are those thoughts? What is going on? Because when we have thoughts, right? Well, let me back up a little bit. So we have a lot of thoughts. We have tens of thousands of thoughts every day. We don't consciously notice but about 5% of those. So if we're having a lot of thoughts that may be negative in nature, so maybe we're having thoughts during the day where we're kind of putting ourselves down, like, I can't believe I burned the toast again. Oh my goodness, I forgot to take the mail to the mailbox again. I have to go to the grocery store. I have to do this. I have to do that. So all those types of thoughts are more like negative in nature, and our body takes those in, and our nervous system or our ego wants to protect us because it wants us to be safe. Well, our ego starts to think, oh my goodness, I'm a failure because I have to do this and I forgot to do this and I burned the toast. And so then it starts to kind of send the signals through the amygdala and the vagus nerve to send out these messages to our body that there's danger. And that we react to that in either kind of these anxious feelings or depressed feelings, or even chronic pain. It can settle into our body as chronic pain. And it's just our body's way of trying to protect us. But the thing is, there wasn't really a danger to protect us from. It was this miscommunication from all of these negative thoughts that we were having all day long. And the body started to perceive there was danger. So we do want to get in and notice those thoughts so that we can stop them, so the body isn't perceiving danger that's not really there. Because it's this chronic cycle of the nervous system, the amygdala, the vagus nerve, thinking there is danger when there's not danger. So the amygdala sends these signals that says, oh, we've got to empty the gut. We get pain in the gut. We might need to be able to run for the lions, the tigers, and the bears. So our heart starts racing really fast. Well, if our body is in that constant state of stress, we are going to develop chronic pain, right? Because that is a big side effect of always being tense, always being in this constant state of stress. So this program really works on that nervous system to take us out of that false sense of danger that's not really there, and brings us back into that equilibrium, that calm, that space. And that's why it works on so many different things. So chronic pain, it works on chronic pain because chronic pain either developed because of this chronic tension in our body, or maybe we had an injury, we had an actual thing in our body that caused pain, right? We needed to know we broke our arm, and so there was some injury there, and our body sent that signal, but we continue to tense and hold tension because we've been protecting that arm, and then that pain becomes chronic because the tension is chronic. Or we have, autoimmune issues, fibromyalgia can cause like chronic pain, and then we kind of fear the pain, so we tense the body, so the body's in more pain, so we tense the body more, and the body's in more pain. So we get this cyclical action of the body being tense, the pain increasing. And so when we act on that nervous system to calm the system, calm the amygdala, calm the vagus nerve, the body relaxes, the pain relaxes. Also, why it works on things like perimenopause, because we start to go through hormonal changes, and the physical body starts to react to those hormonal changes. Then the mental body starts to be influenced by the physical body, because it's like, oh, well, why is this happening? Why is that happening? Why is this being released? And we get into this cycle of chronic tension again. So the big basis of all of this is relaxing that nervous system so that the body doesn't fear the danger and is able to move on. Some of those sensations are from years and years and years ago, and sometimes we don't even consciously know what the body stored. And even if we don't consciously know, this program can help us release that trauma that was there. And sometimes, like I said, we don't know what caused the trauma. So I think about for myself. So I have a lot of fear of medical stuff. So they often call it white coat syndrome. So if I will get any kind of little diagnosis, my mind starts to race and think something drastic is wrong. And then I get that fear, and then I get that anxious feeling. I am 51 years old, and I am just now in the last few years coming to the realization of probably why that occurs in my body. So when I was very young, I was very close to my maternal grandmother, and my maternal grandmother got cancer when I was probably about 7, was probably when she was diagnosed with it. She passed away when I was 10. And there was never a lot of talk or communication about what was happening to us children anyway, because, way back then, people didn't really, communicate to children. It's like, they're just there, they're whatever. And that trauma of seeing her deteriorate, seeing her pass, and then her funeral, and she was very young. She was only like 56, 57. So very young, that trauma that many people wouldn't even think of as trauma. It's like, oh, stuff like that happens. I internalized all of that trauma. And now anytime I get any type of little medical diagnosis, my mind immediately goes to, I bet I have cancer. I bet that's cancer. And I am literally just in the last few years kind of starting to realize that that's where that came from. And it's been through some of this work of somatic therapy, like getting into my body, feeling that sensation in my body, and then getting into the brain, into that meditation and mindfulness to make that connection, and then working to release that trauma that I've held on for all of these years. So I know that was like really fast and, talking big and fast, and a lot of information. So I want to pause, and there are just 2 of you here. And Fran, I know you've gone through this before, so you can give some of your experience as well. And Jamie, if you have any type of specific questions, And then I do want to leave you with a breathing activity this evening as well. So any questions, any comments, any feedback from Jamie or Fran?
I don't have any questions, but when you were talking about the chronic stress, chronic pain, that explains me perfectly.
Yay. So you're like, oh, I mean this. I've been there. I've done this.
Yeah.
Perfect. So we are going to give you tools that are going to help. And Fran, I think you were trying to talk and you're muted. So yeah, I had muted you when I was talking just so it didn't mess up.
Well, I'm glad that Jamie spoke first because she had she has chronic pain. Well, I have MS, Jamie, so I have chronic pain. But what happened with me was I had this sciatica and it was just killing me. I mean, bad. So I went to the doctor, saw the PA, he put me in touch with the doctor, had my MRI, and so I was scheduled for surgery and I took this class, and it's almost like it was in my mind. So I didn't have to really practice it because it had sunk into me, because I can't remember actually thinking, oh, I've got to sit down and do this exercise. It just came. But anyway, and so all of a sudden I thought, well, I don't have that much pain. Why should I go through surgery? So I called up the doctor's office and got my surgery scheduled for 2 weeks, no, a month away. And by that time, it dawned on me, well, it's almost time for my surgery. I don't have any pain. Why am I doing this? So I called them and canceled. And I felt a little bit, I take the weight class, and I felt a little bit in my sciatica yesterday when I was doing the weights, but then I just kind of got over it. I mean, I can't tell you it's going to heal you, but it's going to help you with your healing. I mean, does that make sense, Jamie? She busy with her baby?
I think she's probably in and out listening.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense.
Yeah. It's very remarkable, and I think at its very basis, a lot of it is based on fear. So fear of illness, fear of the injury, fear that the injury might come back, fear of the pain, fear that the pain might come back. And anytime the nervous system encounters fear, it goes into overdrive. And so then we get in this cycle of we're afraid of the pain. So the body goes into overdrive and the pain increases. So then we become more afraid of the pain. So it increases. So when we can stop that circle, and these tools, these techniques that we will be doing throughout this program help us stop that circle. They're not always immediate. They do take some practice, and they are lifelong, like they are ongoing. But they change the system. And the more we practice them, the more we do them, the more automatic, like Fran said, they become. Like, she doesn't always think about doing them. And probably today, when you started having that pain, subconsciously, Fran, you probably started doing some of the techniques without even really consciously realizing you were doing them, and the body relaxed. Just like we tend to have those conscious negative type thoughts and fearful type thoughts. This program helps us change so that our subconscious thoughts are more helpful, are more calming, so that we are better able to stay out of that fight, flight, freeze response that causes the stress, causes the anxiousness, causes the depression, causes the pain. It can react in different people in different ways. So for me, I'll tend to get kind of a stomach thing. Well, my mom gets chronic headaches, and never knew, she goes, migraines and chronic headache, never, ever was that connection made until I started learning this stuff and started telling her about it. And she was like, oh, I've had like migraines my entire life. And it, they were always treating the migraine. Here, take this pain pill, take this pain pill. It helped a little bit of dull the pain so she could function. But then they would just come back. And now she's able to kind of reprogram her being to help those migraines not to appear in the first place. So that's kind of what, that's not kind of what it is, what this program does. And it's why it's so good for so many different things. It's not just, oh, it's just good for perimenopause, or, oh, it's just good for pain. It's good for multiple things because they all act on that same nervous system. So I know you're already signed up, Jamie, and it sounds like it is going to be right up your alley. And I know, Fran, you've done it before, and you might be traveling some during this one. So you can let me know if you do want to sign up. But we'll officially kick off next Tuesday. We will meet 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. What time zone are you in, Jamie?
I live in Wisconsin, so Central.
Okay, so you're the same as me. So 8 p.m. our time.
Okay.
And it'll go for like that hour. I send out an email the Sunday before, just that reminder. You probably already got the welcome email from me. You can join the WhatsApp group, which I think you did, correct? I think you joined. Did you join the WhatsApp group? Not yet. It's totally optional, but it's just another way that we can communicate. I send reminders out through it also. But every Sunday, I'll send an email reminder. And then Tuesday evening after we meet, and I almost always get it out on Tuesday. Occasionally it might be Wednesday when I get it out. I send out a follow-up email with the recording of our session, as well as follow-up activities to help you kind of stay in that practice throughout the week. And then Rochelle also houses all of that same information that goes out into the email into our on-demand library. And so it will be open just to the people taking the program. So there's one in there that we did in November, December. Anybody that did that one can access that on demand. Anyone that does this one will be able to access this on demand. If you did both, you access both of them. And then that's also there for you to keep, or you can, access it through the emails that I send out to you. So it's always there for you to continue to practice. Awesome. Well, I want to leave you with a breathing technique and then just a kind of lifestyle technique that you can try. So Fran, you'll know the breathing technique. This one's called the cooling breath. And I use this one a lot because it works for so many things. It works to calm the nerves if we're kind of feeling anxious. It is also very good if we're in traffic and feeling kind of angry, or we have young children, right, that can kind of test our nerves a bit, or perimenopause where we start to get a little heated from hot flashes. So this breath is very cooling in nature, and there's a couple of different ways you can do. So I'm going to come up close to the camera so you can see it. One is to roll the tongue, but genetically not everyone can do that, but I will show it to you. So the roll the tongue is just where we kind of make our tongue like a straw. And just genetically, not everyone can do that. So if you cannot roll the tongue, no worries. A couple of other ways you can do is take the tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth. Or simply purse the lips like you're going to breathe in a straw. All three of those ways cool the breath when it comes in. So you can try either or I can breathe in through the straw, or I can roll my tongue. And just feel that breath coming in. It's cooler. That actual cool breath calms the nervous system, can even help calm the hot flushes. I just finished this whole course on women's health through Ayurvedic nutrition and Ayurvedic practices. And this is one that they kept putting in there for when those hormonal changes happen, the perimenopause, to cool the breath. So we breathe in and then we just blow out like we're blowing out a candle. So the cool breath in, Then breathe it out like you're blowing out a candle. And you do that a few times, you probably immediately kind of feel that little relaxing action. I do this breath a lot. I do it in traffic. My children are older. My youngest is 17. They're 17, 19, and 21. But my 19-year-old was home from college the other day. She comes home a lot. She only goes about an hour away. And something was occurring, and I started doing that breath. It wasn't even specifically at her. And she got mad at me. She was like, stop breathing like that. I didn't even do anything. Just cool myself down. But she notices, like, I do that when I'm feeling like heated. So that is one great way to cool ourselves down. Another way to really activate, I'm gonna give you two today, to really activate on that vagus nerve and that calming aspect is to take cold. So like keep a rag, like a wet rag, keep it in the freezer so it stays cold, or keep like a little ice pack in the freezer. And if you put that anywhere around the neck area, that constricts the blood vessels going up to the head, but it also acts on our vagus nerve. So our vagus nerve runs from the brainstem down through the neck area into the part of the body. And when we cool the vagus nerve and constrict those blood vessels, our body goes into more of a parasympathetic, a calmer state. That one is also super, super good for actual headaches caused from the tension caused from migraines. You can put the cold around the neck. And then if you have the ability to put your feet in warm water, it's even more powerful because it's drawing the blood supply down to the feet. It's calming the vagus nerve, calming the blood vessels into the head, and it will help calm not only the nervous system, but also help with the physical pain of headaches and migraines. So those are just two of the kind of techniques that we'll learn in this program. So I like to, give you two things for just showing up this evening. All right, well, I definitely want to be respectful of your time, but if anyone else has questions or comments, I'll open that floor, and then otherwise we'll log out. Good. All right, if you know anyone else, they do not have to be VFit members. So if you have friends, family, neighbors, and you're like, oh, it's always like tricky to approach. You're like, I know somebody that needs this program, but you're like, how do I bring it up? So, maybe just this great program at this gym, this online gym that I go to, and I'm signed up for it, and I just want to share it with you. We will take signups through April the 7th. We are halfway full. I'm going to cap it at 20 people so that I do have the bandwidth, to communicate and answer any questions that come up during the program. And, if we get much bigger than that, then I get spread really thin. But we do have some spaces open. So if you know anyone else, feel free to share it. Awesome. Well, thank you both for joining me, and I look forward to getting to know you better and getting started soon. Reach out anytime in between now and then with any questions or comments.
Sounds good.
Thank
Thanks.
you, friends. Thank you. Bye, Fran. Bye, Jamie.
Okay.